Welcome to the Planet Microcap Podcast, the #1 destination for everything microcap investing. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and each week I sit down with elite investors, CEOs, and market experts to uncover actionable insights and real-world lessons you can apply immediately. Are you a new or experienced microcap investor? Do you want to meet microcap management teams as well as other microcap investors from around the world? Planet Microcap hosts the highest quality in-person microcap events in North America. The mission is to bring the best microcap investors, companies, and allocators together to gather, connect, and grow. Visit planetmicrocap.com to learn more about our Las Vegas and Toronto events. Now, a quick disclaimer. This presentation is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as a recommendation to purchase or sell any security referenced herein. Planet Microcap Holdings, LLC and Microcap Club, LLC are not licensed brokers nor registered investment advisors. We, our partners, contractors, members, subscribers, guests, or affiliates may or may not hold positions in one or more of the securities mentioned in this presentation and may trade in such securities at any time. We may have received cash compensation from one or more participants for presenting at past, present, or future events. We recommend you consult a licensed investment advisor, broker, or legal counsel before purchasing or selling any securities referenced in this presentation. Welcome to Planet Microcap. I'm your host, Robert Kraft, and joining me right now is Corrado De Gasperis. He is the CEO of Comstock Inc. It's a publicly traded company. The symbol is LODE on the NYSE American. And Comstock will be presenting at our upcoming investor conference, Planet Microcap Las Vegas, powered by Microcap Club, taking place June 16 through 18, 2026 at the Bellagio. For more information, register to meet with Corrado and his team in Vegas. Please register to attend at planetmicrocap.com. And with that, Corrado, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
My pleasure. I'm doing great, Robert. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's great to have you and great to have you back in Vegas. You presented last year, so it'll be great for everybody to get that update and also get an update here. But before we get into that, for those that aren't familiar with the Comstock story, can you give us that quick overview of the company?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I've been with the company now 16 years, which is kind of incredible, but it was initially, and our namesake, indicates that we had consolidated the entire Comstock LODE historic gold and silver mining district. But about 6 or 7 years ago, we did shift our strategy into renewables. We invested heavily into renewable metals. We invested into a renewable fuels technology. And then we established a really, really large real estate platform. We're currently selling the mining district. That's exciting news because we're very close to a deal. I've said recently that we believe that'll close early in the third quarter. And we're also looking to monetize this real estate. So we have these really two valuable, now non-core assets that we're selling. But the real bottom line to the update and the overview is this renewable metal business is just taking off. And, we've got a technology that takes end-of-life solar panels, recycles it with absolute efficiency, high scale, high speed, very, very low cost, but most importantly, recovers 100% of all the materials. And we resell all the aluminum cleanly, all the glass cleanly, and then these mineral rich tailings that have silver, copper, gallium, tellurium, depending on the composition of the solar panels. Most all solar panels have a lot of silver, so we emphasize silver, but it's, some people call it now, Robert, urban mining. But it's really going to be a meaningful industrial material supply chain, and it's ramping up as we speak.
Very good. So like I said, we talked last year, we were at the event last year. We published that interview in April 2025. So let's get that update. What would you say are some of the company's key highlights from the last 12 to 14 months?
Yeah. So in April of last year, we had proven with a small little demo facility that we could recover all this aluminum, all this glass, all these minerals, very, very well. Now we're scaling to industry. We call it industry scale, but it's really loading a panel autonomously, robotic arms into a system every 7 seconds. If you load a panel into the system every 7 seconds, you're talking about 3.3 million panels a year. That thing comes online at the end of this month, and we just start ramping our revenues and starting our production from there. The goal is to not only get that fully up and running, turning profitable this year, but also that we are extending that metal recovery process one step further, so that rather than having these tailings that are rich in silver and copper and these other materials, we'll actually be able to recover silver and recover other metals, which has a remarkably big enhancement on the revenue stream. We expect that to be in place, at least at a pilot level, so proof of concept fully by the end of this year. And then from there, it's like moving out to a second facility in Nevada, Texas, Ohio, and really starting to extrapolate, because Last year, we saw 4 million panels come out of the market. In 2030, that number is projected to be 34 million panels. And if one production line does 3.3 million panels, you can see what's needed to process these end-of-life materials. The remarkable thing is there's 1.4 billion solar panels deployed in the United States. So even 34 million, which sounds like, oh my goodness, how are you going to handle all those panels? It's a tip of a giant iceberg that's just starting to show itself.
I mean, how many, forgive my naivete, but I mean,
No,
how many end of life solar panels are there? Like I'm sure
well,
most people are probably thinking that. Like, I thought they lasted forever, these
no, it's
things.
a great
I mean,
question.
maybe.
No, it's a great question. Like, so basically, the world, I mean, everyone, including the utility companies operating these solar fields, had a full expectation that these things would last 25 to 30 years. And what we're seeing on average is 15 to 17 years. I mean, literally a full decade plus early coming out of the market. On top of that, more than half of the end of lives are in California, Arizona, and Nevada. So for us
Mm,
having our first and second facility right on the Nevada-California border, where let's call it half of the market at least is coming now, is an exceptional geographic positioning. We feel like we can just position ourselves right on top of half of the market today and then move east as those other panels. I mean, Texas is probably now the largest deployer of solar panels. You see what Elon Musk and these people are doing there, but they're young. They're younger. Okay. But even then, even though they're less end of life in Texas, much, 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 much more in California, there's a lot of breakage in these new deployments. We're
mm.
seeing like 0.25% or 0.5% breakage. We're seeing 3%, 4%, So we're getting panels from a lot of different places right now.
It'd be kind of interesting. I mean, have you thought about once this really gets revved up? I think about, when your phone is done and you go and turn that in and then you get a credit with
Yeah.
it. Like, have you guys thought about working with some of the solar companies on doing something? Because I would imagine that there's some consumers that don't even think, like, wait, what? You're telling me that this is only going to last, I want to be in this house forever. You're telling me this is only going to be good for 15 to 17 years. Or if they're trying to sell the house and then now the person has to take on these solar panels, like, there's only 3 years left on these, and then I got to replace it. Like, what the heck? Like, that wasn't priced in.
It's happening, and that's exactly what people are struggling with. Like, "Hey, I didn't realize that this was," even if I had it in the back of my mind, I didn't think it was coming a decade sooner, right? So
Right.
that's the first point. Second point is, yes, we are talking to the companies. They're saying things like, "Do you want to partner? Do you want to joint venture? Do you want to co-locate one of your facilities, right in our solar fields?" And we're saying, "Yes, yes." And, "Oh, by the way, yes, we'll do that." Secondly, people are coming to us with other electrification products and or other waste materials. We had a remarkable call, from I don't want to, it's not an abandoned mine site, but an old defunct mine site. And they said, well, we understand you guys are recovering metals or working on recovering metals from industrial tailings. Yeah, we understand they're coming from solar panels, but what about some industrial mine tailings? Send us some samples. Remarkably, they're very similar, right? So we said, let's come out and see, look, one of our sites will generate 25,000 tons of these materials a year. 7 sites, you're generating 150,000 tons of these materials a year. So he said, how many materials you have on that one mine site, here in Nevada? Yeah, we got like 5 million tons of material. So,
Yeah, you
okay,
can.
we'll be right out, you know?
Mm,
So to your point, it's right to think of us as a solar panel recycler. We're the leader. We're the only certified by the industry that's a zero waste solution and proven at as well. But there's other peripherals. There's extensions into glass. There's extensions back into tailings. And I think what's really important is that these materials are hazardous waste. These materials are classified as universal waste. These are materials that carry an environmental liability. These are materials that need to be handled properly. And what we do completely expediently is terminate and extinguish those liabilities for our customers. They, in fact, pay us a fee for doing that environmental service. So we do that. And then we go steps further to extract the metals, refine the metals, and make sure that they're usable cleanly for other people. So it's like two businesses in one.
Very good. All right. So this is one of our quick hitters. So I'm going to close out with this one question.
Yes.
From what you can tell us, what would you then say are some of the company's value catalysts now for the duration of 26 and then beyond that folks should really be paying attention to?
Yeah, I would say two categories, right? One is to what we were just talking about, the big machine coming online very soon, in the next month. And then by the end of this year, operating at, utilization rates that turns it profitable. Huge, huge, huge statement to the market. It sounds like it's the best thing since sliced bread. Here it is. It's actually working. Secondly, announcing that we can extract those metals. We can extract silver, we can extract other metals, and we can sell them. That's another huge milestone. Both of those will happen, Robert, here in 2026. Alternatively, separately, differently, selling the mining assets for meaningful cash coming in, that funds the accelerated growth of this metals business, and then selling our real estate position, bringing in even more capital, maybe that one closer to the end of the year, beginning of next year, but still in the reasonably near term. If you're thinking 6, 7, 8, 9 months out, those are all big catalysts for us.
Very good. Well, Corrado, with that, where can our audience go and find more information about Comstock?
So www.comstockinc.com, our website, and NYSE, we're listed, as you said, on the New York Stock Exchange American with the symbol LODE, LODE.
Corrado, thank you for joining me today. Really do appreciate it. Good luck. Stay safe. And I'll see you in Vegas.
Looking forward to Vegas. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.